48 years ago today, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior, one of the Great Lakes here in the great state of Michigan. Also, news of the last week, the San Jose, the holy grail of shipwrecks, with apparently, at this time, $20 billion worth of gold, silver, and emeralds on it, has been discovered or rediscovered, and there's a big fight, as you might imagine, as to whose it is, what's actually going on, and who's going to get the actual treasure. And they're trying to come up with the Colombian president off the coast of Colombia, the Colombian president. He is, saying, hey, we had the coordinates, we're the ones, that found it, and there's a private company, I believe in the 80s, that they had said they found it, given the coordinates to the Colombian government or Colombian Navy. Colombian Navy then said that they found it actually in different coordinates, I'm sure to kind of throw things off. Again, trust but verify, we have no idea what is what. However, the moral story, because now you have like native groups saying, hey, it was a Spanish ship, the San Jose 1702, got sunk by British, which we've been talking about here a lot over time, and pretty much everything you see here over the last 400 years is really at the hands of the British Crown. The British Crown with the British East India Company, and they're really the outlier advantage they had. They had shipping, weapons, everything, kind of like the perfect scenario, the perfect storm, where they had the ability to have control of everything, and then took over the world, took over all kinds of different countries, all their resources, and then really started the drug trade, the mineral trade, all these different things, and then owned all of it. And then now they have hundreds of thousands of organizations all around the world that keep their power. It is what it is. That fact has to be known, and there's many books on it. Just unlimited amounts of books and material that talks about this. But it's still hard to comprehend in a way, because people don't want to believe that there's kind of all-powerful beings or companies that are controlling organizations, controlling their life, and controlling what they see and hear. And unfortunately, that's true. And we have to understand that. We have to understand that fact. And then once we see that lens through this Marxist lens, basically, this one world government authoritarian lens, everything starts to become very clear, and we start to, all the things that happen in the world, I should say, especially all the big things, then it starts to become very obvious and very clear as to who's controlling what and why things are happening the way they are. So this is why you have the San Jose being sunk by the British in 1702. A little over 300 years later, they're being found, the coordinates, and now people are fighting over it. The Spanish were making the natives, some of the native tribes, groups in that area in South America, mine the elements there, and then so they're saying, hey, it should be ours, we should get part of it. The private company, there's a new private company that is an offshoot of the old private company that initially found the coordinates, saying that they should have half the treasure, because that was the initial agreement that was set up. So there's lawsuits going on, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Moral of the story, though, of all this is, again, I went from politics, playing hockey, thinking politics was like, this is how you do it, Constitution, you got to educate people, and you got to educate people on truth and freedom and liberty and first principles and all these different things. Praxeology, which I didn't even know what some of these terms were at the time, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, as a kid growing up. But then seeing the money being broken, the veil coming off for me, Obamacare being rammed down everyone's throats, the elections in 2008 and 2012, Occupy Wall Street, the banks, the bailouts, what was happening, and just the absolute collapse of the system. And then just everyone in the United States being railroaded by the media, elections, bankers, etc., etc., healthcare, basically big pharma, all these entities coming together. That's when the mask came off for me, and I realized, oh wow, there's something much bigger to all this than I could have ever imagined. And so this is why it's so important. I went into gold and silver. I started seeing, we got Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump's book in a grocery store in 2010, and that's when the mask really came off for me, realizing that we're being played by our monetary system. We are absolutely being played. And gold and silver was true money for thousands of years. And our gold, or our currency used to be backed by gold. It used to say it on there, payable to bearer on demand in gold. And they took that from us in 1971. 1964, they took the silver out of the coins. In 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard because they had to, and because of decades of misdirection and guidance by the Fed and terrible presidents and on, right? So we have this structure where I thought, okay, gold and silver was the real thing. That is it. Then 5, 6, 7 years later, as I'm investing, creating my own businesses, doing real estate, doing what? Hey, I'm assets pay for my liabilities, and turn your liabilities into assets, and get passive income, and Yahoo. All these different factors came into play, and I kept being turned on to Bitcoin. And the 2017 bull run went, and I knew as an investor I needed to stay out until it goes back down. I got in 2018, started investing, but it really didn't click for me until 2020, and that's when I realized, oh my goodness, like all the things I've been studying for years, and studying history, and about the gulags, about authoritarianism, about fascism, about government controlling every part of your life and trying to silence you. It's coming into play. We had censorship. We had people having things mandatory injections into bodies, and people getting denied healthcare because of the choices they were making in life. Just unbelievably insane things I read about my entire life, but never thought would actually happen here in America. Never truly believed it would. And that's when I realized Bitcoin is the game. That is the game. And that's why when you realize gold and silver, again, is one of those things that has an inflation rate. There's gold and silver on asteroids, in the space, in the ground, in the ocean. It can just all of a sudden $20 billion worth of gold and silver comes up, and now your supply you own, the part you own, is worth less because now there's more on the market. And that is going to continue being suppressed, that price. And also they can suppress it by selling paper in the market, which has been going on. Again, you can go Google all the different times that JP Morgan or different companies have suppressed the gold and silver price and have been fined for it. And have basically pleaded or had a plea deal and said, hey, here's a fine and whatever, just don't make us admit anything, basically. Or there were times they admitted it too, I believe. But anyway, you start realizing this isn't going to do anything for us. Gold and silver keeps getting centralized into government or banks, and then they sell more paper claims and defraud the people of their time and energy through inflation, through printing more currency and more claim checks. And that's the very nature of gold and silver, because it is heavy. It's not, you can't move it across space. You can move it across time. It holds its value over time, but you can't do it instantaneously over space, because that's unfortunately how fast commerce goes nowadays. You need something that's both scarce and can move at the speed of commerce, the speed of light. We now have that in Bitcoin. That's when everything, the trends, the future, the older crowd going away and their wealth going to the younger people, and the younger people being technologically inclined, AI, virtual reality, all these different things coming into picture, and seeing, oh my goodness, in the hard cap of 21 million, all these different reasons were the reasons that I came to these conclusions, and all the objections I kept going through, like, no, it won't work because this, no, it won't work because that. That's why. So this San Jose shipwreck, gold and silver, makes me laugh about this, because this is part of the story of me going from politics and hockey and being a high-level athlete and then getting into the monetary system and understanding the monetary system is how everything is rigged. And it makes me think of a video we'll have as well. If you want to go check out this video, check out the kill switch video. The American bill that was just passed, or they were trying to pass here, the kill switch in a car. By 2026, every car in the future will have to have a kill switch so the government can turn off your car. The kill switch in the car will get people to understand the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, or any other central bank digital currency, for any other fiat currency, the euro, they're trying to do it. That is the kill switch for your money, for your wealth, for your freedom. When they have the central bank digital currencies, that is the kill switch for your money, for your freedom, for your property right, your wealth. Just like the kill switch in the car, an electric car, this will get most people to understand that. So go check out the video there. I'm going to talk about it more in this that video, so go check that out. But I wanted to put this out there and just talk about this, because this is one of the reasons that I realized that the game is not gold and silver anymore. That was the best thing we had for thousands of years, but it keeps getting diluted, and the process keeps getting diluted because it's properties. So I appreciate you. Please share this out. The algorithm hates truth. Trust but verify. Excuse me, everything I'm saying. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. And this is not financial advice. It is freedom advice. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.